welcome to the Fantasy Rewind podcast. I'm your co-host, Dylan Stoll, and as always, I'm joined by my friend Mike.
Hey!
So today, we're diving back into the world of the Wheel of Time, this time with Season 2 on Amazon, starting with Episode 1, which is titled...
A Taste, Yum of Solitude. The yum part's not in there, but you get it.
A Taste of Solitude. All right. So before we dive into this, just give out the typical reminders. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are at Fantasy Rewind Pod. On X, we are at Fantasy Rewind. And if you want to send us an email, you can do that too, which is fantasyrewindpod@gmail.com. All right, without any farther delay, let's dive into the rewind.
Fantasy Rewind. All right, Dylan, Season 2, Episode 1, we're back into the world of Wheel of Time. How are you feeling about it?
Well, so my feelings are incredibly torn. So, as everyone who's ever listened to this podcast from the beginning knows, we had some issues with Wheel of Time Season 1.
Yeah.
Despite it being one of our favorite...
Book series.
I say one of our, because one of our favorite book series, Mike's favorite series.
Yeah.
So, like, there was so much hype going into this, and then Wheel of Time Season 1 was a bit of a letdown. However, I got reeled back in with some of the promos and the trailers for Season 2, and I was getting excited, and then Episode 1 hits, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this day one, and then I get on and see that there's 3 episodes, not just one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I start watching Episode 1, and I found it inoffensive. That's how I will, mostly inoffensive, how I'll qualify what I thought of Episode 1. I thought overall there were some things that I enjoyed about it. Mm-hmm. There were some things that I did not. And that's something we'll talk about and differentiate between the two and everything. Mike, what were your general thoughts, though, about Episode 1 yourself?
So we might actually have a bit of a difference of opinion on this. So I was there. There were a few things, obviously, I have an issue with, but overall, I was just happy to be back in the world, and I surprisingly thought that with the time skip they did, mm-hmm. which at first was a little irritating, to be honest.
Yes,
I like what they're doing, and I think maybe it's just because I haven't thought about the first season in so long. I'm like, oh, that makes sense that they're doing this if they're trying to shorten the series up. They're combining these characters. They're moving this event up, and sort of they're doing a few different things with it. And I was like, well, that makes sense. So I was okay with it in terms of it setting up the next couple of episodes. I did not watch the next 2 episodes like you did. So I don't have any Episode 2 or Episode 3 in my brain like pulling at me. I'm just Episode 1. But I'm excited to dive into it.
Today we're just talking Episode 1. Yeah. We're not going to get into Episode 2 and 3 as much as I might want to talk about them. But we're going with just Episode 1 and keeping our discussion to all of that information.
Correct. Yeah, so I think it's just good for us to sort of give a big overview of kind of what's happened. We start off here with we find out a time skip. But before that, we have a meeting of Dark Friends, as you come to find out, because there's a little girl playing outside.
Social. The Dark Friend Social.
Yeah, the Dark Friend Social. An ice cream social, except there's no ice cream. Probably just blood and, bad vibes. Anyway, they tried to turn this around a little bit. The Trollocs are coming in, and this little girl runs in, and we come to find out later on that this little girl I think she was part of that party that got murdered.
That's what it looked like to me as well.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, in this group we have the Dark One's lieutenant, the one that ran face at the end, who Shamael. Yeah, I mean, yeah, which they didn't give his name again, so. And we have some interesting little hints here. And I liked this scene because it very much is reminiscent of, I forget which book's intro, but there is a group of dark friends that are talking. And I'm pretty sure it is like The Great Hunt or one of those.
I think it is book 2.
Yeah. And so that was really cool. You see everyone in kind of their different garb. There's someone in Shannara garb, someone in Sanshan garb. Someone has a black Aes Sedai ring. And so it was really interesting kind of seeing all this. We end up having the little girl go back out and touching a Trollocs face. And I think it's to give you sort of maybe some empathy for this group of people. I'm not sure what the purpose of what was for this scene, but I was like, okay, cool. Any thoughts on that?
My general thoughts on the scene is that the way that they did it, I really liked. Like, I thought from the perspective of the little girl looking around, giving you hints about who might be there. Because that's what I really want to see with the Dark Friends in this show, is I want them to be hinted at. I want mystery around who is good, who is evil. Is somebody evil that we don't expect? Like what happens in the books. So, like, I'm wanting that mystery. And I thought that doing it through the perspective of a little girl looking around under the table was a smart way to do it. The whole part about Ishamael being like, oh, do I look like a monster? Are they really monsters or are they just hungry? I thought for sure he was feeding her to the Trollocs.
I did too.
I thought for sure that she was ending up in a cook pot. Kind of wish she did, to be honest. That would have been better than having tame Trollocs. Because, like, I don't know. That was fine, but...
Him taming the Trollocs is fine.
Him taming the Trollocs is fine, yes. But having the girl, like, pet a Trolloc, I didn't know what the point was.
I didn't quite get the point there, too. That's why I was like, are they trying to, like, humanize him in a little bit, in a way? And I'm like, they shouldn't be.
They should not do that, no.
But anyway.
But yeah, all in all, I liked that scene. I thought that it was a cool way to represent it.
Then we sort of get, in the next couple scenes here, I'm just going to do broad overviews here because I don't want to go beat by beat. But we have Moraine and Lan sort of retreat, if you will. And you get also Perrin and Loyal as they are chasing after the Horn of Valir, the hunt, with Uno and the rest of Shannarans. Oh, and who's their tracker? No one but Elias. I was like...
He's their sniffer. They actually say the word sniffer, which I thought was interesting because it's like a call out to Huron, even if it's basically saying they're not going to have him. But, hey, this is our sniffer.
Yeah, so again, combining characters, and I like it.
Yeah.
Now, I
thought so too.
Necessarily like how he was portrayed in this first episode. He just seemed like... He was just, like, walking around. I was like, is he blind? Like, he's just sort of just, like... He was very stiff, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
He should have been more, like, aloof and... like, I get that he wouldn't want to be, like, all up with the people, but... I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more from him. But it's okay. There's more room for him to grow as we go into the next couple episodes.
For sure. I think the next few episodes, we should see his character expand more.
Yes, and then we have the Tar Valon friends. So that is Moraine and Egwene right now with Alana. And you know what? I really do like that they're bringing Alana's character more to the forefront because she was really a side character, not even a side character, like a background character in the books.
Yeah, like a fourth, fifth tier character.
Yeah, but she's one that really, I think, they've done justice by bringing her to the forefront and making her more of a mentor to Egwene and Nynaeve. And we also have Matt in there a little bit. So, which one do you want to kind of focus on first?
Let's talk about Moraine and Lan first. Let's run through their entire arc, and then we'll move on to the girls, and then end with Matt.
So, this was interesting. They are at a villa, countryside estate. So
they're at Elias and Van Dien's house.
Yeah.
Except in the show here, Van Dien doesn't exist, and it's Varen and Adelius.
I was going to say, it's Varen and Adelius. And in the book, we have the two sisters are retired, and they own this home, whereas in this one, it seems it's just Adelius who's retired. Maybe Varen is too. Varen's a little more personable in this, and I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I thought Varen was perfectly fine in this episode, yeah.
Yeah, I like her. I think the actress who's playing her, like, kind of matches up a little bit with how I pictured her.
Same.
And I'm going to be honest, she's actually pretty attractive. I was like, wow. I was like, Varen got hot.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay,
but...
yeah. Sorry, I was like, yeah, I'm digging your vibe. We also get Bail Doman. So let's kind of come back here that Moraine is still shielded, still cut off from the source, whatever. We're almost 100. She's shielded.
She's 100% shielded. It has not been explicitly said that she's shielded. She thinks she's stilled.
Yes. So she has
At least
no
she's
access.
Implied she's stilled.
Yeah, no access to the power. And we know she's going to get it back. I mean,
of course.
Come on.
She has to.
Yeah.
Has to.
But I do like that they're kind of, like, in a way, I do like they're exploring this a bit. Because it does show the effects of being cut off from the source early on, of being shielded. It'll sort of set that up as we get farther into the series, because that does become more of a thing the farther we go into the books. So getting it out of the way now, I don't hate, and that would give her a reason to go to their house to research and everything else. And it does sort of combine the sister's house and when she was calling people to her informants, as it seems she's doing here, to get information. It combines the two, and we get one of our favorite side characters in the book, Bail Doman, is actually one of her informants, it seems. Which I don't... that wasn't the case in the book.
That was not how it was in the books, no. But I think that the portrayal of Bail Doman was fantastic. I loved the guy that had playing him. I thought that he did a great job. In the books, the first time we meet Bail was when he rescues like Lan and Matt, taking them down the river, and everything after they get separated, leaving Shadar Logoth.
And he does name drop kind of like those locations where
he does.
So it was good.
Bring up White Harbor and
they're giving those breadcrumbs, which if you're going to have to condense the series, I think that's a great way to do it. Give fan service. Combine characters that you need to.
I will say one of my least favorite parts of this arc here that we have going on is the objectification of Lan, basically, by Adelais. I thought that was stupid. I thought that why would an Aes Sedai who's hundreds of years old be basically drooling over a shirtless man? I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, I think in the book she was a green, too, and she may have made.
She was
remarks.
A brown, just like her sister.
Never mind.
Yeah,
her sister was a green.
I'm pretty sure they were both browns.
I'm pretty sure one of them was like, maybe I'm wrong. I might. Yeah. Anyway,
no, I think you might be right. One of them was like an adoptive brown because she lived with her sister.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
So anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyways,
Tomas is there.
Yeah.
Love it. I liked Tomas's portrayal.
Yes.
Thought that was great.
I think that was good.
And I do like too that like. They, like, Varen and them kind of got him to start seeing Moraine struggle a bit. And it's like, we don't have this bond anymore, but we've been together for 20 years. What are you going to do to communicate and get back together? I was hoping here, because at the end of the episode, they get into a fight with some Murdral. I was kind of hoping the Drakkar would have showed up. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I think that they used the Murdral attack as a replacement for the Drakkar, and they're probably just not going to include the Drakkar in the series, which is honestly 100% fine. They're very rarely used.
And they really never made a whole lot of sense to use anyway.
Yeah.
Like, why would you use that instead of, like, a Murdral? So,
yeah.
I did kind of find it was interesting. I did like that they had, like, the Murdral kind of going through the shadows. That was cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to bring that up, too. They did see the Murdral teleportation kind of weaving in and out of the shadows, going from place to place quickly through the... and I thought that was done really well. I do want to just kind of run through their whole arc and talk about that last scene with them fighting the Murdral. So, with that scene there... That, honestly, was probably one of my least favorite parts of this episode, because we got to see weak boy Lan, because Lan is useless in this show, apparently, instead of being the badass he is.
I would agree with this. Moraine stabs one in the face, and then Lan... I'm just sitting there watching it, and I was like... Alexis was next to me, and I was like, he's just getting his ass kicked. I was like, he's not
Yeah.
getting any hits or anything. Like, I was like, what the heck? She was like, well, like, I was like, he just keeps getting cut. She was like, yeah, but she got cut too. I was like, yes, she did.
But Lan's like one of the best fighters in the entire universe of Wheel of Time, so he would slice and dice 3 Murdral up in the blink of an eye.
Wow.
If that.
Not 3. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But, I mean, like, he would face one-on-one, he would beat it. Because, like, in the books, they talked about how the only people who have faced one-on-one, like, Murdral one-on-one and won was, like, Lan.
No, they say that you earn a name when you beat a Murdral one-on-one. You get, like, a little attachment to the end of your name there or whatever. But Lan is portrayed throughout the entire series as one of, if not the best fighter in the entire world.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff he does throughout, especially the later arcs in the books, he takes out some pretty impressive people by himself. And so I just thought the portrayal of Lan, of him not being able to handle himself in this situation, was weak sauce. Was definitely weak sauce.
Agreed. I did like at the end where Tomas came in with like the flaming sword and like.
Oh, that part was awesome.
I was like,
don't get me wrong,
so
that
cool.
scene was cool.
Yeah.
But how they portrayed Lan in that was god awful.
I agree. I do agree. I'm glad we were kind of on the same page on that one. That he should have handled. I still think we could have came to the same outcome, but like had him.
Instead of him being a punching bag, having him maybe be overwhelmed by even more Murdral or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it could have. Yeah. It's whatever, though. It's done, and now Lan's like, what have you gotten us? Like, what are you not telling me? And I think we left out a piece here. Bail Doman did give Moraine a poem. And I'm pretty sure it's a prophecy.
Oh, it's definitely a prophecy. It's definitely a prophecy. And I have a feeling that this poem that we got here is gonna take effect in episode 4, is my prediction. But we'll see. We'll see if it is or not.
Okay. Interesting. I will be intrigued. So, anyway, that's kind of Moraine and Lan's storyline at this point in time. They're by themselves. Again, the title of this episode is A Taste of Solitude. Each of these groups is kind of in their own.
They're very isolated.
Yeah.
Each group is very isolated from each other.
None more so than Matt, who I think we'll cover after we do Egwene, Nynaeve.
Oh, we should also have Perrin and Loyal, too.
Well, yeah. Do you want to do them next?
Let's do them.
Quick. So, Perrin and Loyal are chasing after the Horn of Valir with Uno, the other Shinarans, who we all thought were dead at the end of...
Right. Yeah, they magically healed between end of season 1 and now. I was like, wait, I knew they were back, but are you going to explain anything about how they survived that attack?
Maybe a flashback? That'd be cool. No.
Or just even say, oh, we got healed by whatever.
Yeah, like you could make that so quick. I wish they did something that was my issue with the time skip. I like that, it's like, oh, all of a sudden we're in Egwene and Nynaeve's in the tower and this is happening, but it's like, how did we get there? Did Moraine just like leave you guys high and dry? Did she take you back to the tower? Like what happened here? Maybe just a little bit of an explanation or name drop here and there would have been great. But I think, you hit it right there. How did they suddenly get healed? But I do like with the group with Perrin that when they're talking, you get some of like their past adventures, some of the things that happened in the book that they're just not going through and explaining, where they almost caught Pat and Fane. And in this particular episode, we're seeing that they caught up where Pat and Fane and his Trollocs butchered a bunch of people.
Yeah. And we got to see how they're going to do the Wolf Brother, like, enhanced senses bit, which is basically visions of what happened to, like, explain the smell of what's going on around them.
Which I'm fine with.
How do you feel about that portrayal?
I'm fine with it. I mean, otherwise it would be too much, like, in his head thinking and, like, this sort of is like a quick, like, okay, yes, he's seeing this thing because of the wolf vision, and he'll have that explained to him from Elias.
Yeah, I thought that it was a great way to do it, because on page you can talk about how the smell smells a certain way. You can't really do that in live action. You basically, or else you'd just be in someone's head, like hearing their thoughts or whatever. It would not work as well as just like a quick vision, ghostly vision of what happened. And so I thought that was done well.
Yeah, I did too. Unfortunately, there's not really too much to talk about with them right now. Like, I mean, we sort of hit it on the head. They're
The one thing I will
horn.
bring up that we didn't mention earlier is at the Dark Friends Social, we saw Pod and Vane.
Yes, we did.
And so I thought that was interesting because
He
kind of breaks off. So
but he hasn't
I'm interested
gotten
to see
the dagger yet.
Yeah, he has.
Oh, he does have the dagger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did show that in the.
Because that's what he stabs Loyal and all of them with at the end of season 1.
Which is why it's so weird that they're surviving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh. I'm gonna be interested.
But
to see
I just thought that was like a nice little tidbit of seeing Pod and Vane at the Dark Friends Social.
Yeah.
But
And we're not even sure how he got the knife.
no idea.
Yeah, I wish they would go in a little bit more and explain that. Maybe a flashback from Matt at some point this season would help with that. We'll see if they do that.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. Anyway, I do want to just bring up one thing about the hints of Dark Friends. I think they are doing a nice job, at least for those who have read the books who know who a Dark Friend is. They are starting to layer that in a little bit.
So I guess that's a good conversation to have right now, actually, is how far do we want to reveal our knowledge of who's a Dark Friend and who's not?
I think maybe we don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I agree with you. I did want to bring that up, but I was going to do it more directly. So I do think that they are doing a nice job because Dark Friends are everywhere. That's the truth. And so finding like ways to hint at different Dark Friends and everything throughout the series, I really want them to do it. Like I said, add some mystery, have it be more kind of subjective who's a Dark Friend and everything versus like straight up telling you, oh, this character's a Dark Friend, that character's a Dark Friend. More of like vague hints and then maybe some big reveals later on that might shock you.
Yeah, I love it. All right, let's go into the Tarvalon. No, Tarvalon. I refuse.
I
know, whatever. Anyway, the Aes Sedai storyline, which does include Matt's, and we'll get to his probably last. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. So we have Egwene and Nynaeve, and they are now novices, a.k.a. the bitches of the Aes Sedai world. They are doing all the chores, they're cleaning up after people, they're walking in as people are having threesomes. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. You know, casual every day, you know.
I liked that they showed them doing that. I liked that Alana came down and was doing a lesson about taking the earth and the water out, and then Nynaeve was like, fine, I'll just drink the dirty water.
Yep, love that scene.
I thought that was all great. Really well done. Honestly, I have no complaints whatsoever with the Aes Sedai portrayal. I do think it's interesting that Nynaeve is fighting with the Warriors, though. That was kind of like...
That was weird.
That was weird because she wouldn't have been allowed to do that. She
would not have been allowed to do that. I also do take a little issue with how arrogant and abrasive they're allowing
Nynaeve
the novices to be towards Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Because that would not have flown. They would have been sent to the Mistress of Novices and gotten the slipper or whipped or whatever.
Yeah, well, they're going to not do that, you know, because that leads to other issues.
Yeah, I mean, but I still think like that they should have made them show more respect towards the Aes Sedai than what they have done, because Nynaeve isn't just being like arrogant; she's being straight up aggressively defiant against the Aes Sedai, which Nynaeve is angry and does require a lot of guidance, but she is respectful.
Yeah, she does it when they're not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do. What did you think about kind of Sheriam, the Mistress of Novices? We got to see her with all her white-haired glory.
Yeah, no, so just in general, I understand how they're portraying the Aes Sedai, because you can't realistically give somebody an ageless face, because if they tried to do some kind of CGI effect on it, everyone would be complaining about how bad it looks. So I understand them leaning in. That being said, I think that they should have hired younger actresses to play the Aes Sedai and said, oh, yeah, I'm 100 years old. And the girl looks like or the woman looks like she's in her 30s or something like that. Maybe 40s and 50s. But I think that Shiriam looks too old. That's my general impression of her. I also think she's not nearly as strong-willed enough as she needs to be Shiriam.
Yeah, at least for right now, yeah, I'd agree with you.
Because Shiriam is notably, she has notably red hair in the books. And that's, a big part of, how youthful she looks is due to her robust red hair. So
I wonder if they're combining her character with someone else.
I don't know who they'd combine her with. They've already done Varen and Adelius and some of the other people. And we already know Cadsuane is going to be her own character.
Yeah.
And Cadsuane is much, much older than Shiriam. Because Shiriam's supposed to be about as old as Moraine.
Mm.
And so Cadsuane is a couple hundred years older. And we know the actress that they're going to have for Cadsuane. And she looks way younger than the person they have playing Shiriam. So I guess my biggest complaint with Shiriam is that they just picked an actress who looks too old. I understand, the older, wiser mistress of novices, the principal, basically, but she's too old.
It honestly didn't bother me, but the red hair thing was a bit of a, that's, her defining character. Unfortunately, one of her defining traits was her red hair. So having that in there would have been nice. I'm surprised we haven't gotten Elaine yet, but I'm sure we will get her next episode or two. So,
I know. I was very surprised that we did not get Elaine in the class right there with Nynaeve and Egwene. I did think that just as I'm talking about this portrayal of the Aes Sedai and everything, I thought that it was interesting how sexual they made Alana, because it's not just Egwene walking in on her having a threesome with her warders and being told to scrub the floors while she gets hers. But on top of that, when Egwene goes to Alana later in the episode to talk about the lesson, Alana starts giving her sex advice right off the bat. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, I understand and it's fine, but this is a little much even for Alana.
Yeah, they're definitely making her a little bit more sexual. To me, it's whatever. I don't really.
It's whatever, but I mean, it's just a departure, and it's interesting.
Well, yeah, that was honestly something that never happened in the books, but they want to bring some of that in to make this show a little more spicy.
They've adulted it up a bit.
Yeah,
let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I do want to talk about Leandrin. So we had this talk off air, where Leandrin. Character, it is Leandrin. They've taken her and Elida's character in the book and they have put them together.
At least it looks that way right now.
Yes, with Leandrin having had a novice die under her tutelage, so she was banned from instructing. She is very much against men and warders. She is also really trying to. She's very much power, right? That is what's important to her.
All about the power.
All about power. And that is very much Elida's character in the book. She wants the tower to be strong and whole, but she has the vision of it and how it should be versus some of her blue and green sisters.
Yeah, so I thought that Leandrin is honestly one of the stronger portrayals of the Aes Sedai in the show, in my opinion. I think that the way that they have her just kind of being laser focused about power, about, trying to foster and gain power for herself and her Aja, I think that that's done quite well. I like Leandrin in the show for what she's supposed to be. I don't like her, but I'm not supposed to like her.
Yeah, I think her portrayal has been great. One other thing that kind of happens with Egwene and Nynaeve is they get a letter from Perrin, and it's Beltane. It's just sort of like a way to say that they're all separated, but they're still connected. And that was very much the point of this episode, I think, is that all of them are, doing their own thing at this time.
And I do want to jump in really quick and just bring up that at this point, everybody thinks that Rand is dead.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They do. It's hard honestly, I forgot because I was just like, oh, yeah, he's alive.
Yeah.
And you do get a little glimpse of him in some village.
At the very, very end.
At the very, very end. And after, the letter, Leandrin is also reading that letter, but to a Matt Cawthon, who is locked in the tower somewhere, we're assuming, and can't leave. We're not quite sure why.
Well, I know why.
I mean, well, like he says, he hasn't touched the dagger in 6 months. He's not a threat really to them. I think it's probably to control him because he is, oh my gosh, what's that called? It weaves around them.
Oh, so he is Telviran.
Telviran, yeah. He is Telviran, so maybe it's to control Telviran. We don't know, but he's slowly chipping his way out. We know he's going to escape. He'll probably hook up with Egwene and Nynaeve, and they'll help him escape, and that'll be a thing. Not sure yet, but it'll be interesting to see, because they are sort of taking they took him out of the first season, and they've sort of taken his character from the third book, I want to say.
That's what it seems like, is that it's almost like they're trying to take Matt straight to book 3 Matt, which is the best version of him from then on. But my impression is that they have him in prison because Moraine sent that letter to the Reds saying, hey, Matt Cawthon is coming. You should grab him. And so they listened to Moraine and grabbed him up. And I think in particular, Leandrin is watching over him and is interested in him because, again, power. She doesn't know why exactly Moraine is interested in Matt, but she knows that Moraine is interested in Matt. So she's like, well, if Moraine is interested in you, why? And can it benefit me to hang on to you? But I also wanted to say it's notable, in my opinion, that when Leandrin is reading the letter to Matt, she excludes the last part that says maybe someday Matt will even find his way back to the group.
Yeah.
And she lies straight up to Matt, saying no mention of Matt Cawthon anywhere. So,
well, did it say Matt Cawthon?
Yes.
Did it
no,
say...
it did not say Matt Cawthon.
Exactly. So I love that little... I love that you were like, she lied, but technically she didn't lie. She just gave the Aes Sedai truth. And I think this is good too, because this is going to bring in his distrust of Aes Sedai.
Yep. This will explain exactly why Matt has a problem with Aes Sedai later in the books, more so than it did in the book.
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. So I'm cool with it, and I'm excited to see where we go in the next couple episodes.
I am very excited to talk to you about the next 2 episodes. So
I will watch them soon.
I will. I'll have to. We'll have to talk soon after you watch them. So.
Probably do the next one tonight. So maybe we'll even talk again tomorrow. Who knows?
Cool. I'm here for it. All right, but that's gonna do it for us here. All in all, Mike. So, what were your overall impressions?
I am happy to be back into the world. That's what honestly. I think taking so much time off, and then coming back and just being like, yes, I'm back. Like, okay, I see them morphing some characters together. Like, they're making it work. They're making it work. So I'm okay with it right now. And just happy to be here. Let's keep going.
In general, I feel the same way. I am nitpicking. I am, having some issues with what's being done, but I already expected that to happen. I am just happy to kind of be back in Wheel of Time world. I want to just enjoy it as much as I can. We'll talk more about how the next few episodes impact our views or not. So, all right, but that's gonna do it for us for this episode. So, if you want to share your thoughts with us, I gave you the socials, gave you the email. Let us know. Are you watching season 2 Wheel of Time? If not, why are you listening to this episode? But yeah, just let us know your thoughts on it and how you would like to see them do things differently, what you've enjoyed, and all that good stuff. But this is going to be two nerds signing off. See ya.
See ya.